A very good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. I am very excited for BPE Friday. It's just going to be one of those days. I see Wu-Tang 4. Brad Merrill is in here. James Rainwater Buckets is in the chat. Is he on the show? I'm not sure. Let's see how we did on the show yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. We skate by with a 5-4. I go 2-0. If you followed my picks on the early wedge, you actually went 4-0, and I put those golf picks in the SportsLine Discord as well. So a pretty good day, but honestly, we could do a lot better because 5-4 isn't going to win you a ton of money. Shout out to Mike McClure for hitting his pick. We hit one of two NHL SportsLine picks, and Woody Marks for Make Shop coming just short thanks to a negative reception courtesy of Davis Mills. But I'll tell you what. Let's just put that in the past. We go 5-4. It's fine. Let's kick things up a notch for BPE Friday. Let's go. We got Freya. We got Buckets. We got Mikey B. I think we got Danny Brasco. And ladies and gentlemen, if you hadn't had your coffee yet, no worries, because we've got your Chip Me Up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Mikey. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Hurley Heads fam. Oh, boy, it's raining outside. More on that later. But I've got sunshine because I'm here with you, ready to put the battery in your back. We're talking big D's. Let's go.
Let's go, Buckets. Mikey B. Brasco. I'm pumped up. Buckets appearance by Fred. We don't always get that. How you doing, buddy?
We don't always get that. I'm surprised she's there she goes. I was like, she usually doesn't stay around that long. She was on Galazzo this morning and did a wonderful job. So she's kind of doing her tour, making all the visits she needs to make. Excited to be here. Got some good footy. International break is over. And see ya.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness, dude. I promised people in the chat I'd find a live bet now that break is over. So I'm going to chime in here eventually. I'm going to kind of keep my eyes out, though, for something.
Keep your eyes out. I got to drop a PGA play before they tee off. I'm going to do that, but I got to get to Mikey B. Mikey, what's going on there? The glasses and what's on your head?
Come on, we got Thanksgiving next week. Gotta get there. Who's gonna make the turducken? You know what turducken is, don't you? You take a debone. See what you do here. There you go, Ben. Good job. So what you do is you take a deboned chicken and you put it inside of a deboned duck, inside of a deboned turkey, and boom, you got a turducken.
Not a terrible impression, right, Danny Brasco?
That's a solid John Madden classic, man. Mikey B in the Thanksgiving spirit already. I'm fired up, man. Obviously, football next week is going to be a good slate, but we got UFC Qatar in Doha. We're going international, baby. I got more picks today.
Are we going Qatar? Or are we going Qatar?
Right. I keep changing the pronunciation. Like I said, the locals call it gutter. So, get out there, spend some time. You could do the local informal pronunciation. We're doing our best here.
All right, fair enough. Let's do soccer, Buckets. Let's get a couple of soccer picks out there. We'll get a live play a little bit later, and then my play goes off at 10:42. It's just a round a round 2 3 ball, which I'll get to right after you give out your picks because we got a little bit of time here. Buckets, go ahead.
Absolutely. Sia, no more international break, and we've got league footy until March. So we have months upon months of just no nonsense. Just give us the league play that we love to see. I've got 2 plays for everyone here today, both of these taking place in Germany, and we start with the second Bundesliga with VfL Bochum hosting Dynamo Dresden. We're taking both teams to score in over 2.5 goals at -110. Bochum is a fantastic club that has Bundesliga experience. They know what they're doing, and they're having a pretty good start to the season, but I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on this Dynamo Dresden side that is staring down the barrel right now of relegation, but they're not playing like a relegation-bound team. Too many times we see teams, when they get scared of being relegated or scared of losing, they park the bus and they play Serie A style. They play for these cagey 0-0s where nobody wants to score. Dynamo Dresden is not doing that. They're kind of just saying F it right now. They are going for goals. 16 goals scored in 12 matches, but 24 goals conceded. They aren't playing cagey. They're not playing not to lose. They're playing to win, and even though they're losing, they're having fun doing it. So I'm loving goals in this first fixture. Then FSV Mainz taking on Hoffenheim in the German Bundesliga this afternoon. I am so sorry to everyone because I full-heartedly disagree with the line on this one. Mainz are favorites in this game. Mainz shouldn't be favorites against anyone. You take me and 10 of you in the chat, we're beating Mainz. They are that bad this season. Only a single win, and they're playing a Hoffenheim team that is coming off of back-to-back victories. Hoffenheim is incredible right now. Kramaric is in great form, and they picked up more attacking talent. The only reason that Mines are favorites right now is because they're playing at home. But if you take someone like Carlos Pradas and you have him come to Columbus, to my city, to my town, and you have him fight me in my apartment, guys, the home field advantage doesn't matter when you're just this bad. He's going to kill me, just like Hoffenheim's is going to kill Mines. Take Hoffenheim on the draw no bet that is somehow plus 100, and maybe you sprinkle the team total at plus 120. Maybe you sprinkle the money line at plus 170, because historically Mines is good at home, but not this season. Hence the one win, Sia. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Was that a UFC analogy, Danny Brasco? How did that go?
He dropped a Carlos Prates in there, coming off a straight left-hand knockout of the year candidate. If Prates is in your living room, call the police, because you're in trouble.
No. You call the coroner and you make reservations. Police can't get there fast enough. You're done, son.
We've got a lot going on in the chat. What is a DNBC? He thinks it's Dave Matthews Band as well. Buckets, can you clarify?
DNB stands for draw no bet. What this means is that if the game ends in a tie, you get your wager back and the bet is voided. So this gives you a little bit of a safety net rather than just taking the money line. If Hoffenheim win, you cash the ticket. If they lose, you lose. But I just don't see a world where Mines actually get 3 points. So this is kind of the safer bet to take than just the money line.
All right. Well, no bet is safe, especially in the PGA, but we've been rolling along here. And what's so interesting is there was a question in the chat from Louis411. He says, first of all, needed that chip me up. And then he says, Sia, what do you think about Rodgers? And I assume you're talking about Patrick Rodgers over Chandler Phillips. Again, I'm assuming you're talking about Chandler Phillips. Round 2 tie, no bet at minus 135. Okay, so you're saying tie means you get your money back. I don't have an opinion on that. I never back Patrick Rodgers. A lot of people do. I'm not interested in that, especially since Chandler Phillips has been playing decent golf lately. However, I do have a Chandler involved in my 3-ball that goes off at 1042. So let's do this one. Let's do Pearson Cootie plus 105 over, let's see, it's Wilson Chandler and Taylor Montgomery. I have it plus 100 here. I will tell you, I think it's BetMGM. You can find this at plus 105. So it's my bad. Clerical error here. Pearson Cootie plus 105 over Taylor Montgomery and Wilson Chandler. It's Will Chandler. I call him Wilson because it reminds me of Wilson Phillips. By the way, that song, Hold On, I feel like if you change some words around, is a song about not going on tilt. Go and listen to that song from 30 years ago. I'm just putting it out there. Here's why I like Pearson Cootie. A lot of people like Pearson Cootie coming into this tournament. I know it's crazy, but listen to the lyrics. A lot of people like Pearson Cootie coming into this tournament. I actually really liked him too. He was almost on my outright card and probably should have been. I put Michael Brennan in instead of him. Either way, I was on Pearson Cootie 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago. I wasn't on him last week. Should have been on him this week. He's playing very good golf. This fall swing going really, really well for him. And when you look at Chandler, like Chandler just hasn't been playing good golf at all. Taylor Montgomery, on the other hand, has been a little erratic, but what I mean by that is he's shown flashes, but he really hasn't been good. What Taylor Montgomery does really well is he's really great with the putter. That didn't go so well for him yesterday in terms of his overall score. He was 1 over par, which is really bad on these courses, Seaside and Plantation. Pearson Cootie, just so much better form. I don't think Chandler's going to factor in here, and Taylor Montgomery can only factor in if the putter just goes absolutely lightning hot. And yes, that can happen with Taylor Montgomery, but guess what? It can also happen with Pearson Cootie. So give me the ball striker, give me the better player, and give me a very hot player in the fall swing. Taylor Montgomery plus 105 over, Pearson Cootie plus 105 over Taylor Montgomery and Will Chandler. I've got an NFL prop coming up later in the show, but let's get to more picks. Chip Patterson, we've got football tonight. We got football tomorrow. You got picks for both.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. You know, I ain't going to be here and not give you something, especially here at week 13. We only have but so many college football games left. We got to soak them all in. And speaking of that, guys, it's nasty here. So the Florida State Seminoles are coming to Raleigh, North Carolina. They're playing NC State, little Friday night lights action for you. Just 2 games. It's going to be Florida State, NC State, followed by UNLV Hawaii. I do think UNLV Hawaii is super exciting. But both of those teams, despite having good conference records, aren't on the inroad to the conference championship. So stakes are kind of like, oh, are we going to the Potato Bowl or are we going to, like Shreveport? Like you're playing for pride, which we do love to see and we do support. But it's rainy. It's a little cold. Florida State's 5-5. I'm looking out there and I'm like, you know what? I could see this being a little sluggish starting, right? Because NC State, they were just down in South Florida. They were just stretching out and enjoying by the pool. They didn't play any defense and they didn't play any offense. Miami stuffed them in a locker. They got beat 41-7. Florida State, on the other hand, closed out their home schedule, took care of business, but now they're coming out of Florida. So both these teams were in Florida last week. They're both coming up here to like 45, rainy. I mean, I think it's going to be a little bit slow starting. So because NC State overs have been cashing, we've got a full game number that's up near 60, which means we've got a first half number of 30.5. And that number for a game that I think is going to be slow starting is too daggum big. First half under 30.5. Then we move on to Saturday with big time on CBS. One of the biggest games of the week and one of the biggest Big Ten games of the entire conference schedule. That's right, the USC Trojans going to Eugene, Autzen Stadium to take on Oregon. This is a massive game for the Big Ten title race, for the college football playoff race. It's exactly what the Big Ten wanted when they went and added the Ducks and the Trojans from the Pac-12. So, breaking this game down, we got an Oregon team that has one of the best pass defenses in the country. We've got a USC team that has one of the best passing attacks in the country. Well, where do we find the edge? We find the edge in the habitual slow starting nature of USC. USC's been a second half team all year. Lincoln Riley has said as much. You know, he's sitting there pouring in the rain, talking after beating Iowa, and he's like, we've been a second half team all year. Really have. Shows our resilience. Hey, you know what? Credit your resilience. But your resilience, it ain't going to happen when the Duck is on that motorcycle. And Oregon gets off to a fast start. So we're going Oregon first half -5.5. Ooh, that's a good number and protects us from Jaden Maeva and that passing attack. They find themselves in a game script where they just got to let it rip. If those playmakers end up hitting explosive plays in the second half, kicking in the back door when we're talking about 9.5 or 10, that is not of our concern. We've already cashed that ticket at halftime. Then throw it on a little side screen because you know you got to have CBS, America's Most Watched Network, the Network of Stars, or Paramount Plus, a Mountain of Entertainment. You got to have that on the big screen. Little side screen here. We need Utah to bring the absolute hammer down on Kansas State. Wildcats have been wandering in the wilderness. We already saw what happened in Dublin. We saw them get off to the 1-3 start after that. Conference play was bad. And then we thought just because, you know, they beat Kansas in the Sunflower Showdown, kind of got their rhythm back a little bit. Man, I tell you, Kansas State went to Stillwater to go play Oklahoma State, one of the worst power conference teams we have ever seen, 14-6. Yo, what is funky about Kansas State? And now in a second straight road game, I'm expecting that they're going to be able to find some great form that they have not showed against quality competition all season long. When you're going up to Rice-Eccles Stadium, when you're playing in front of the mighty Utah student section, that's right, the Muss is going to be bringing the energy. Utah's defense is going to be absolutely chasing down Avery Johnson and putting him in the ground. I like Utah to continue to crush the same way that they have. We're talking about a team that's 8-2 against the spread on the year. We're talking about a team that is 4-1 against the spread at home. We're talking about a team that has put up 45-plus points in each of its last 3 games and is beating its last 3 conference opponents by 27-plus points. Do I think they could do it again? Yeah, daggone right, I think they could do it again. Utah, -17.5.
Okay, that was amazing for like 5 different reasons, but we do have some breaking betting news. Buckets. I know you need to catch your breath here. So
that's just
Chip.
like Chip is so dangerous. Chip could tell me to do pretty much anything and he could convince me to do it. Like, Buckets, here's why you need to go rob that bank. And I'd be like, he makes some good points. There's some good arguments here. Maybe it makes sense. So I only bet unders when Chip tells me to because I hate unders, but it's just good job, Chip. That's all I got to say.
Well, somebody in the chat said, I wonder if Chip talks to his family the same way he gives out bets, which would be like the funniest sitcom of all time. Buckets, you have a live bet that you're considering.
Yes, I do have the live bet as well. We don't have a lot of the big leagues this early in the morning, so we got to go to some of the smaller European leagues. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, sorry, Danny, you will not have this available. We've got Radnik taking on Zrinski Mostar. We're taking a first half goal right now. Zrinski is by far the best team in Bosnia. It's not even close. They've already ripped it off the post once, and they have dominated this head-to-head matchup. They have scored in the first half 7 of the last 8 times they've played Radnik, and they need points right now because the Bosnian league is still competitive. So I think we see someone, most likely the visitors, open this up in the first half.
We have a lot of people making fun of me for having like a tofu turkey at Thanksgiving, which is untrue. That allegation is untrue. For having cauliflower mashed potatoes or whatever Joey is saying in the chat. I understand why people are saying that. I have regular turkey just like everybody else and regular mashed potatoes and stuffing, but it did prompt, Brasco, I saw you participating. It did prompt me asking the chat, what's your favorite side at Thanksgiving? So, Brasco, you've already answered that question. What was the answer?
It has to be stuffing. There's no other time we eat stuffing. It's a Thanksgiving staple. It's a cultural kind of part of that plate that makes it Thanksgiving. Obviously, there's some great ones, but people like the sweet potato, some with the marshmallows, some with the brown sugar, yada, yada. It's stuffing all day, Sia.
I agree it's stuffing. I just don't like your rationale behind it. Just because we have it that day, it doesn't make it the best. Mikey B, what's your favorite?
Whoa, but you're saying the best Thanksgiving side. I think that is a differentiator. I think that's the way that you separate yourself from the pack.
So you're saying any side that you don't normally has a leg up over any other side, and I that premise is flawed. I mean, that would make cranberry sauce ahead of mashed potatoes. That's ridiculous.
Cranberry sauce is whack.
It's ridiculous.
But it's
and
something
nobody
to
eats
overcome.
It except on Thanksgiving.
It's like a quality win when we're splitting college football playoff resumes, Sia. You know, if the fact that it is, and that's like Oklahoma going into Tuscaloosa to beat Alabama. You're not going to find many wins in America that's better. And who else can say, oh yeah, mashed potatoes? Guess what? I see you all year long. I might see you every Sunday at grandma's house. Oh, sweet potatoes. Oh. No, you came to this state of North Carolina. We got sweet potatoes all year long. Stuffing. We ask you to bring it for one holiday. And you know what stuffing does? Brings it. It's a closer, Sia. It's a closer.
I mean, I agree. I think I agree with stuffing. That would be my answer too. I just reject the rationale behind it. Mikey B, favorite side at Thanksgiving. Where's your hat?
I took. Oh, you want me to put it back on? Can
For
I
this
not have
question,
this conversation?
Asked you a Thanksgiving
here.
question. It's the least you can do.
Okay, I have it back on. I'm sorry, I took it off. It's hot down here. See, okay. The answer is stuffing, but I think the bigger debate, if you have the cranberry sauce, is it the real stuff or is it the one that comes out of the can in that one whole cylinder? Which one?
It's
Which
neither.
one?
It's neither.
No,
Buckets,
you got to have the cylinder. I know it's not real, but it tastes good. You got to eat it. It's like a hot dog. You don't question it. You eat it and you enjoy it.
Sia, you have to ask me first on a question like this because I love a good bit. I like messing around, but now I can't answer honestly because it's going to look like I'm doing it for the bit. I love cranberry sauce. It is by far my favorite. It's not even close. And stuffing is ass. Like it's just not even close. So
what?
I don't know if we're allowed to say that, so I apologize if we're not. But it's just I won't even touch the stuffing. I'm just on the cranberry sauce station the whole time.
Worse things have been said, buckets. But
saying cranberry sauce was worse than.
I'll never forget the show where Martin the Guru Green dropped an F-bomb and then he goes, I don't know if I was allowed to do that. Oh, well, and just kept going. I was like, Martin, you say whatever you want, brother. It's the accent. It's just
look at Buckets throwing Martin under the bus. He's not even here. I can't even believe it. We got to get to more picks. As an aside, if you're listening to the audio version or listening to this on our YouTube channel back, put in the comments your favorite side for Thanksgiving. And for the record, we'll be doing this show Thanksgiving morning and on Friday, the day Black Friday as well. So we'll be with you next week. Mikey B, go ahead.
So I've had a couple questions here in the chat. They want a Thanksgiving parlay. I'm going to be on Wednesday's show. So let's do the Thanksgiving parlay on the day before Thanksgiving. So I'll have one cooked up and we'll see if we can stuff some money in our bank accounts.
Well, just well done. Well done. BetMGM players will receive an NBA Cup odds boost. Just make an NBA Cup bet, receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars if your bet hits. BetMGM account holders will also receive a college football odds boost. Just make a college football bet this weekend and score extra winnings if your bet hits. Only at BetMGM. Make it legendary. All right, let's get to some sports line picks and let's get to a producer pick. Coastal Carolina money line -128. That one from Tom Casale, and Georgia -9.5, -110. That one courtesy of Bruce Marshall and Ben. Ben has a pick. Ben has two picks. Miami Heat first quarter +0.5 -110, and Oklahoma team total under 24.4 or 24.5 at -121. Ben, would you like to explain yourself here, or do we just move on?
Yeah, I'll quickly explain. It is 24.5. That's a typo on my end. But I wanted to quickly explain the Miami Heat one because I know Chip is the king of like situational spots and finding out fun situations. And this is a great situation that I love to play a lot. Some of my betting buddies and I call this the grocery spot, because you know how after you go on a trip and you come back and the first thing you need to get is groceries. That's the first top of mind thing. You can't do anything else till you get your food. Well, the Bulls have been on a almost 2-week road trip. And teams coming off these long road trips typically come back, and the first game they play at home, they don't play so well. Their minds, they need to get groceries. They need to get settled. They're a little bit tired from their trip. So the Miami Heat come into this game, first game of their road trip. They're going to be motivated. They're going to be ready. Let's take Miami Heat first quarter +0.5 at -110. The Bulls coming off 2 insane wins. One was on a buzzer beater. I think they're going to be brought back down to earth just a little bit, at least in the first quarter, Mikey B. So maybe we still get the Bulls win, but they might just not start out very hot. On the other side on Saturday for Oklahoma, team total under 24.5. I don't believe in this Oklahoma offense. I think they played Alabama very well defensively, but offensively they just didn't sell me. And they're coming off that huge win against Alabama. Now they come home. It's an 11 a.m. local time start, a little bit sleepy against Mizzou. I think the Mizzou defense comes to play. They're going to be ready to play this game. And Oklahoma, maybe a little bit of a letdown spot offensively. Give me that team total under 24.5.
Ray Garcia says, Ben, shout out to you, buddy. Graphics, it doesn't go unnoticed. Chip, I'll go to you first. Any response to the Oklahoma play?
Yeah, my play here was on the under, so we're seeing it kind of the same. I mean, they needed a long punt return and defensive score to be able to get to 24 last week against Alabama. I agree with you. I think that Missouri, remember the Missouri Vanderbilt game, 17-10, no one could really move the football. Might see something similar here. Missouri's defense is for real. I think it'll be, I mean, the thing is, Brent Venables, got a lot of Kansas State in his history. I mean, I just think as long as Brent Venables is at Oklahoma, Oklahoma's going to be the SEC's Iowa. They're going to play amazing defense. They're going to have a shifty quarterback who can just make something wild happen. And they're going to have a defensive score or a special teams play. The SEC's Iowa is playing games like that right now. They're doing it well, obviously, in the college football playoff race, 2-loss team here on November 21st. But yeah, in Oklahoma under, the full game under, all that checks out here.
Mikey B, I want to get your reaction to Ben just antagonizing you with the Heat play. But before you do that, I want to remind everybody, because Chip, I hosted the college football show, which is in your podcast feed. It's on the SportsLine YouTube channel. I encourage everybody to go back and listen to that, because we talked about Oklahoma and Missouri quite a bit. And if I recall, a lot of people like Missouri, they thought it was too many points. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure that everybody was on that. So go back and listen to that show. Also, the NFL prop show. The time has moved and the platform has moved. Everybody should know at this point we're back on YouTube. But we're on today instead of 1 o'clock at 3 o'clock, which gives us more time to get the picks out and maybe gives you more time to get in there. So we'll be on this SportsLine YouTube channel for the NFL Prop Show. It'll be me, Claudia, Prop Stars, and Uncle Dave at 3 o'clock. Please make sure you tune in. It is an absolutely great show. Mikey B, your response to Ben's pick.
Heresy. I'm glad he got himself off the screen here. We've got our Bulls gear on. We're 8-6. It's a cup game. Ben, what are you doing, Ben? Come on, you're killing me. I would never do an anti-Bulls pick. Maybe.
I like the grocery thing. I like the grocery thing that he was talking about. You got to you spend some time with the kids. You haven't seen to the extent some of these, I get not being dialed in that first game at home.
Listen, there's DoorDash. There's all these grocery stores deliver right to your door. You don't pick against the Bulls, Ben. Come on.
We got to get to NBA picks. We got to get to UFC picks. We got to get to your questions. There's a lot of questions in the chat. Make sure you hit the like button, everybody. And obviously, I'll remind everybody that before we get out of here, that Splash Sports contest, if you haven't already re-signed up for that, because a lot of you that were in there last week are for whatever reason not in there this week. And it just probably means you just haven't gotten there yet, because you just click a button and you make your picks. So Early Edge Week 12 Pro Football Pick'em. Go to splashsports.com/early edge if you're not already in there. But certainly if you did it last week, make sure you do it this week. $1,000 on the line, and it's free. Yes, free to enter. All right, we got to take a break, and then we're coming back with UFC with Danny Brasco, NBA picks, and my NFL prop, plus your questions right after this message from our partners.
You can't count on accurate expiration dates.
That is a rookie mistake.
Or the kindness of strangers. But thanks to CBS Sports, you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Who was it? It was Rainbow Thunderstruck, says free contest with Sia and Buckets, who happened to tie last week, which I'm very embarrassed about. Buckets, you're laughing about something. I don't know if that was it.
That was exactly it. I just think it's so funny that I was put on the graphic and I know nothing about NFL, but it turns out I know a lot about NFL, the exact same amount as Sia. So that's kind of cool to me.
Yeah, totally fair. I have no argument in response to that. Let's go to UFC. Danny Brasco, you already gave out some picks on Wednesday. You've obviously got more picks today.
Yes, I do. How soul-crushing was that, Sia? Just gotta move on. Gotta move on.
At least we finished in the top third, or at least near the top third. So it wasn't like we were both tied for last place, but it was thoroughly embarrassing.
First of all, don't disrespect Buckets as an NFL handicapper. He is the interception god. So I need some interception plays. He's got sharp reads. On to UFC. We're back in Qatar. I don't know how to say it still. I don't think anyone does. David Bierman said ESPN spent 4 years trying to figure out how to pronounce it before the World Cup. In any case, we're fighting there. And the first pick that I have is a fight that just materialized. And there's no way I'm not backing this guy. I don't care that he's flying to Qatar on 3 days' notice. I don't care that he hasn't had a full camp to prepare for this guy. I'm going with Where's Waldo Cortez Acosta, because this guy wants to make the heavyweight division exciting again. And he just fought 2 weeks ago. In fact, he almost lost the fight. He got poked in his eye while he was getting pieced up against the cage. And it looked like he got knocked out, and they called the fight. But they realized that the blow and the sequence of the knockout happened because he was fouled with an eye poke. So they restart the fight after the opponent celebrated, thinking he won. And what happened? 20 seconds later, Waldo whops him with a right hand, puts him down, knocks him out. This will be Waldo's 5th fight in 2025. And I just feel like he's game time. He's actually fighting down in the rankings. So this is a big risk. He just wants to scrap, and I really respect him for it. He's taking on a guy in Shamil Gaziev, who was supposed to fight Sergey Spivak, the polar bear, who's known for his grappling attack. Now Gaziev has to face a boxer with a baseball background, actually, and Waldo kind of throws that right hand like he's pitching a fastball. He's got this snappy jab. He's got this kind of awkward boxing style that's tough to deal with. He's very wiry. He doesn't look like he has so much power. He can kind of throw some slapping shots around the guard, but he's doing a lot of quietly technical things. Like you look at a fighter and their AC joint and kind of center line, the way he rolls punches, the way he blocks with his arm is very technical. It might not look so, but he's doing a lot of high-level things. And I think he's going to frustrate Shamil Gaziev if he's keeping that center line, if he's blocking a lot of his punches, and if he's defending takedowns. If Gaziev can't take him down and stay on top, I think he's going to labor in this fight. Remember how bad Gaziev looked against Jairzinho Rozenstruik? He just got jabbed into oblivion. I think Waldo could do that on 2 days' notice. There's a risk here because he's flying to Doha, Qatar. 24 hours of his 2 days of preparation is flying there. So if he loses, he doesn't look great. I'll have egg on my face, but I'm backing Waldo. This is a big risk. I think he gets it done. Next fight, we're going to the co-main event. I'm taking Ian Machado Gary by decision here. He's facing Bilal Muhammad. Bilal just coming off that title loss. He got stripped of the belt against Jack Della Maddalena. But I think he's going to take his 2nd loss in a row here, namely because this is a 3-round fight and it's in a bigger cage. If this fight was at the Apex in the UFC in a small cage and it was 5 rounds, Bilal Muhammad might really pour on that pressure, get the boxing in his face, land repeated takedowns. But Ian Gary has shown the ability to fight smart. He has very high fight IQ. And look who he's fighting against. He really kind of neutralized for a bunch of the fight Shavkat Rakhmonov, the guy who was the boogeyman of the division. Gary was way more competitive in that fight than people expected, using his footwork, using his jab, mixing in his grappling. He was able to get past the tricky striker and Michael Venom Page. And in his last fight, he beat Carlos Prates, who Buckets just said, was in his living room threatening him. So Prates, a guy that we're now very high on, Gary neutralized him for 4 straight rounds. And it wasn't just that he grappled him or kept his back or controlled him on the mat. He beat him with footwork, with technique on the feet too. He's very smart in kind of neutralizing what you want to do. And I don't think Bilal Muhammad will be able to repeatedly take him down and keep him down. Bilal's game, his striking really opens up when he's landing takedowns. That's what opened up the punches. But I think if Gary can neutralize that part of the game, he can control the dance. I think it's going to be a fairly boring decision win for Ian Machado Gary. And we'll have no choice but to look at him as a title contender after he beats the former champion Bilal. Finally, guys, Arman Sarukian. I gave you a pick in this fight on Wednesday. I took the under 3.5 rounds, mainly thinking because Arman's going to get Dan the Hangman Hooker out of there. So I'm going to kind of play it in another way. Give me Arman Sarukian by KO or submission. He's finishing this fight, especially off the last UFC 322 card where the co-main and main event were boring fights. They were dominant wins by the champions, but they were wrestling-based wins in which very little damage was inflicted. Very few submissions were attempted. And people are getting bored of it. You take a look at fighters that go on the Contender Series to try to make a name for themselves and get a UFC contract. If you fight like that, Dana White will not sign you. So why are we like applauding it in championship fights? I guess because you neutralize an elite fighter, just keep him stuck. Wow, it's dominance. Look at the wrestling. Look at the technicality of the grappling. But Arman Sarukian coming off that, I think is going to want to get the finish because he wants to become the next title challenger at lightweight. And if he gets Hooker out of here, a guy that's known for his sensational brawls that he's been in, I think we'll have no choice but to give him that shot. And if this fight ends up on the floor, I don't care what Dan Hooker says in the interviews, how he's going to kick, Arman's head off. He wants the first decapitation in UFC history. The guy's crazy on the microphone. If this fight's on the mat, I don't think he's going to be looking very good. He got taken down 5 times in his last fight against Mateus Gamrot, but Gamrot's a guy that's known more for his chain wrestling, less so than his positional control and his submission ability. Arman is going to take him there and keep him there, rain down ground and pound, and get Hooker out of there and get his title shot. So give me Arman by finish. And there's some good UFC Qatar picks for you guys.
Wow. Chip, you got somebody on the podium with you there. That was incredible stuff. Danny Brasco.
I'm just chasing Danny.
Yeah, I get it. Danny, this is why Danny's...
don't understand is that's art. You know? Like, that is art. Do I understand specifically any of the fighters involved? No.
But
do I appreciate and follow the rhetoric? Yes. That is art. That is how you make the connection. Did I understand one word that Camp Lowe was rapping when they were putting things together? No, I did not.
Chip is the man. Camp Lowe is fire. Chip is the man. I still don't know a lot of I look at the lyrics and I'm like, they made up new slang on their own, but Camp Lowe is dope. Chip is the man.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Just like when Buckets texted me yesterday saying, hey, did you like Coach Carter? I'm watching it right now. And I said, I regret to tell you, I haven't actually seen Coach Carter.
No way. First of all, Thea, you need to that.
Is it called Uptown Saturday Night? Isn't that the name of the album? Like the best album there for Camp Lowe?
Lucchini, this is it. Sia, the quote from Coach Carter, you have to watch for the motivational quote alone. Our greatest fear is not what our greatest fear is what we're capable of, because we know we're powerful beyond measure. It's about being afraid of what you can do, not being afraid of what you can't do. Samuel Jackson, chills.
I feel like it's more artfully done on the movie. Buckets, I want you to express your disappointment in me, but I also want you to answer Ray Garcia's question about Crystal Palace over 1.5 team total at +105.
Oh, that's another bet that just makes no sense to me. They're playing Wolves. Wolves might be one of the worst Premier League teams we've seen in the last decade. I mean, they are getting swamped by everyone. I actually, on the SportsLine site, if you go to the little EPL tab, you can see plays from me and Martin. I've got Crystal Palace money line at +100 as one of my favorite bets on the weekend. Got no problem taking team total on that one as well. And also, I'm disappointed in you. But to be fair, when I watch movies, I don't fully watch them, so I don't remember the quote that Danny just said. So.
Oh no!
This is something of the movie. I can't stand this because honestly, like my girlfriend, she's not as engaged as a watcher of me. So I'm pausing, going, oh my god, that is an allusion to a metaphor that I love locking in on a movie and finding the Easter eggs and the director's cuts and everything. It's hard for me to watch someone that's kind of passively watching, but I've come to understand not everyone watches like I watch. Everyone is entertained in their own way, but. I'm a big quote guy, Buck. It's lock in, man.
It sounds like a fight's brewing between Brasco and his girlfriend. A little disconnect on movie watching.
Don't. Hey, we can fight here, okay?
Do you want to talk about it, Danny? Like this is an open forum. We got people in the chat that can help you out. Mikey B, people want to know what the NBA bets are. We have questions in the chat that we'll get to NBA related, but you've got 2 props. Go ahead.
Hey, we talked about the art that is what Danny and Chip bring to the table. Well, it's time to do some finger painting with me because that's the level I'm at. So let's go 2-player props. We're going to do Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds. The Cavaliers are playing the Pacers. They basically decided to punt the center position after Miles Turner signed with the Bucks. They are rolling out Isaiah Jackson, Tony Bradley Jr., and Jay Huff. Yuck. Nothing excites you about any of those guys. And that's the reason why the Pacers have given up the 4th most rebounds per game in the league. In their last game against the Hornets, Ryan Kalkbrenner and Musa Diabate combined for 21 rebounds. They're not exactly Tim Duncan and David Robinson. Mobley's already averaging 8.6 rebounds per game, so I think he goes over this number of 8.5. And then we're going to go to the Heat Bulls game. I can't believe Ben would have an anti-Bulls bet. Sorry. I have one too. Jaime Jaquez over 12.5 rebounds and assists at -111. No Andrew Wiggins. No Nikola Jovic for the Heat in this game. Lots of minutes coming to Jaime Jaquez Jr., who's already averaging 6.7 rebounds and 5.3 assists. Great matchup. Both teams top 3 in the league in pace of play. Bulls ranked 17th in assists allowed, 24th in rebounds allowed. Jaime Jaquez Jr. over 12.5 rebounds and assists.
All right. Katie Taylor wants to know, and by the way, that was better than finger painting. You're doing a great job.
Oh,
there,
thanks. Yeah, I didn't even have my smock on. My shirt's clean. I did okay.
You're the best. Katie Taylor wants to know, how do you feel about your boy, Kobe White? P&A, points and assists, maybe at 24.5 at -125.
So we just have to be careful here, Katie. It's a back-to-back set for the Bulls. Kobe White's coming back from an injury. He's not going to play in both sets. So we're waiting to see which game he's going to play. He's questionable for tonight. If he plays, I'm all in on that over. I like that.
All right, Buckets. How do you feel about Hoffenheim draw no bet -110?
So that's the one I gave out at even money. I would take it at -110. I would take it at -150. I would use it as a parlay piece at -200. I just don't agree with this line at all.
Professional transition, because Ray Garcia wants to know, Chip, would you use the Oregon Ducks money line as a parlay piece?
I would, in fact. Jaden Maeva, the USC quarterback at home, has been absolutely phenomenal. 14 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. On the road, 4 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Completion percentage drops from like 75 to 57. Yards per attempt drops from over 10 to 8.1. I think that Oregon money line should be good to go as a parlay piece.
So there are so many college football questions. We'll get to some of them. We unfortunately can't get to all of them, but I encourage everybody, if you're not already subscribed to the Cover 3 podcast, which like everybody in the world is, but for some reason you're not, make sure you're over there, because as much college football content as we put on this SportsLine YouTube channel, like the Cover 3 podcast, that they'll double or triple it. So tune in there, because you're going to get a lot of picks both here and there. Danny Brasco, what's so funny?
No, the chat is on fire today. Sports Fan has some really funny Sia jokes. He says that you iron your pajamas before bed and that you floss after chewing gum. Someone said that I have lasagna for Thanksgiving. Just like the chat is killing me today. Really good stuff, guys.
Maybe we could get to Dweezy Dub some of these questions. He's got like I don't even know, it's like a 5 or a 6 pack, but I don't know, Chip, maybe you want to answer a couple of these. Oregon over 34.5 points, -9.5, Pitt +2.5. I mean, there's a lot here. Can you maybe pick 1 or 2 that you like here? Because he's talking about Stanford, Baylor, Arizona, USF, Cincinnati.
Tom Casale likes Oregon team total over, so I'm never going to stand in the way of that freight train. But I will say that in the second half, I could see them running the football, just kind of leaning on a USC defense that's a little bit banged up. That could depress scoring and make it tough to cover 9.5. That's why I'm trying to get out by halftime personally. Pitt +2.5 at Georgia Tech. That is a hunchy play. I like it. But I recognize that the threat is that Notre Dame broke freshman quarterback Mason Heinschel, who had not had a bad game yet as a starter, but then Notre Dame just, after the pick, he could not find himself again. So I am taking Pitt, but it's not a hold your nose, but I'm recognizing the buyer beware, caveat emptor. Cincinnati +2.5. I liked at the beginning of the week. I'm fading on a little bit right now. That would only be vibes. Can BYU get it done on the road? Generally, I think they can. South Florida over 45.5. I straight up do not like. South Florida's hopes are gone. Like, this is a team that before they lost to Navy last weekend could have been in the mix for the college football playoff, and now they are very much on the outside looking in. Alex Golish is a name that is being targeted to potentially get a power conference job, and you're getting them on the road to Birmingham. Like, I wonder if they're going to be firing on all cylinders. A little motivation spot there. Stanford plus 3.5. That's the big game against Cal. Banned on the field. Why not? Rivalry dog. Army minus 9.5. I think I like that. Army at home is always a little bit of a beast. And then Baylor, Arizona over 62.5. I do not like. Arizona's defense is salty. They're a good Mendoza line team in the Big 12. They win against teams they are better than. They lose to the best teams in the conference. So I think that Arizona's defense, especially playing at home, might be able to cause some problems for Sawyer Robertson. I would lean under there.
Wow. Okay. We'll take all of that. Real quick, Brasco, before I get to you, Jack Petro says, I love this show. Jack, if you haven't already, go to Spotify or Apple, wherever you get to this, your podcast, because maybe you don't watch it live all the time, and hit a 5-star review for us. Maybe make some comments. Thank you for saying that. Danny Brasco, go ahead.
DeFars is on it in the chat right now. I was just going to say, love the Mendoza line reference from Chip. And I thought to myself, who is the player Mendoza that batted 200 for his whole career and is infamously given this title? And there's DeFars, Ramiro Mendoza. I guess he's just the guy that owns the moniker for batting very average, even subpar.
Yeah, I think that's Farzad. Like StreamYard has changed everybody's name to their handle for some reason, but normally it says Farzad. He's always in the chat and a huge supporter of this show. So good stuff from him as usual. We got a UFC question, Danny Brasco. I'm going to screw up this name. It's from Joey. How do you feel about Abdul Yakev winning by KO?
Yeah, Yakyaev by KO. I mean, he's like a minus 1,500 favorite. KO is, I think, minus 175. So they're giving him Rafael Cerquera. Cerquera's got power in his hands, but he's a guy that gets pieced pretty early. He's gotten finished multiple times in the UFC. This is a showcase fight for Yakyaev. If you want to take that, he could get a sub potentially, but yeah, it's probably pretty safe. I don't mind beating the juice and taking that. But again, minus 175 for a knockout prop. I'm usually not going to bet on those, but it's going to happen probably.
Buckets, soccer questions that we missed?
Nope.
Mikey B, NBA questions that we missed.
Somebody asked about laddering Evan Mobley. I don't mind that. I wouldn't go crazy high. I would stop at 12. If you want to maybe do a little more conservative, you can just do him to record a double-double. That's like plus 105, plus 110, depending on where you're shopping. So you get plus odds with that.
Chip, I know you mentioned the UNLV game tonight and that I thought you said you had a lean. David Talk is trying to follow up on that. Did you have a lean on UNLV? And by the way, is that game in Vegas or is it in Hawaii?
It's in Vegas, and that's why I would lean UNLV. It's a small number. If you wanted to jump on the over, earlier UNLV overs were an ATM, but 2 weeks in a row or 2 games in a row, UNLV has not been, cashing like they were. And you're going to get a big number here just because of what you've got with Hawaii's offense. I'm just going to lean the home road splits for Hawaii and vibes. If you happen to, have a little time in Las Vegas, like what hey, Mikey, remember like the old Miami flu, right? And remember the Dallas Cowboys.
Some basketball players may have come down with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens.
CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens.
He didn't throw up, Sia. He's fine. He says he didn't throw up. He didn't throw up.
So I think that there's maybe the Island boys, like if you're sitting there on a 2.5 point spread with a team that already has home road split issues and you're taking them out of Hawaii and you're dropping them in Las Vegas around Thanksgiving, maybe we're not walking the straight and narrow. We'll see. We're really going to test the foundation of the focus.
Go ahead, Brasco.
Mendoza line edit. Ramiro Mendoza was a relief pitcher. Right when I said that, I was like, he didn't bat. That's wrong. It's Mario Mendoza. And it carried over from 1979. It was a joke that his teammates on the Mariners made about his low batting average. And then it got popularized when George Brett in 1980 said something about the Mendoza line. Now, 45 years later, that's still how we refer to someone with a subpar batting average. So inside baseball right there.
I love that. Thank you for going right to Wikipedia and looking that up. That's really good stuff, or whatever. Google. At this point, do we need Wikipedia with Google? I don't know what's going on with Wikipedia. Go ahead, Brasco, follow up.
I hate the AI overview on Google. Everyone just reads that and accepts it as fact. That's just an amalgamation of the average answer. It's recycled knowledge. Click one more page. Look up the answer for yourself. Remember a time when we didn't believe the internet and we asked it, are you telling me the truth? Or you wrote a history paper and you had to deliver a bibliography with all your sources? Click another page. Click on the Wikipedia. There's more information there. It's actually a solid data source a lot of the time. Look further than the AI overview, please.
God, for some reason, I think you were talking directly to Buckets, and I think that's super rude to call him out like that. And it's also super rude for me to go 44 minutes into the show and not give out my NFL prop. And part of the reason for that is because I'm going to give this prop out, among others, with Uncle Dave, Claudia, and Prop Stars at 3 o'clock today on this SportsLine YouTube channel. But the prop I'm going to give out, I'll keep it really short because we've gone long enough. Y'all aren't going to like this. Part of the reason I'm taking this is because I love the ladder opportunity. For one, Adonai Mitchell, who I understand if you follow the NFL, you're like, man, this guy has a case of the drops. He was let go by Indianapolis partly for letting go of the ball before getting to the goal line. But Adonai Mitchell, the reason why you see the wide open drops is because he gets wide open. That's something that Mike McClure likes to talk about a lot. Can this guy create opportunity? You got a negative game script against a Ravens defense, but here's the important part. First of all, the coaching staff loves Adonai Mitchell. And I saw the OC gushing about him just this last week, talking about the drops, but also talking about how excited he is to roll Adonai Mitchell out for the rest of the season. But also, again, Ravens defense, man coverage, but an upgrade at the quarterback position. Now we have Tyrod Taylor, which is in the pocket, in my opinion, a much better quarterback than Justin Fields. This is a ladder opportunity. In fact, if you don't want to take this 31.5 or 33.5 or 32 where it is in some places, I'm okay with you taking the 40 plus at a plus number, like plus 130, plus 140, or even the 50 plus at plus 230, something like that. Because Adonai Mitchell's the type of guy, we saw it last week, he beat Christian Gonzalez on a couple of different plays. He just couldn't come down with the ball. It's just going to take 1 or 2 receptions for him to get to this line, in my opinion, and he could absolutely break one. I assume Tyrod Taylor is going to have to throw for a majority of this game because Baltimore is going to win and probably going to win pretty comfortably. Give me Adonai Mitchell with a ladder opportunity over 31.5 receiving yards at minus 114. People are going to hate that bet. I just know it.
I love it.
Thank you.
Especially off the deep bomb that he barely missed. Tyrod Taylor, massive upgrade from Fields as a passer. I love it.
John Mechie, by the way, I think he'll get opportunities too. His line is only 24.5. So, I mean, that's another guy you can consider. I understand you don't want to take 2 Jets. Again, we'll talk about that more on the prop show. A lot of picks coming your way. How high the ladder, Cleveland? I mean, it's up to you. I mean, 50 plus, 60 plus, I think is in play, but we're talking sprinkles once you get to that portion of it. Truly just sprinkles because it is the Jets at the end of the day. But I'm going to sprinkle a little at 60 plus. And I actually correlated it last night with a touchdown, but the payout wasn't good enough. So I'll just do the yardage. All right. I think we got to get out of here because this has been a really, really long show. Sorry for holding everybody up. We got a lot of people still in the chat. Thanks for participating in this. I wish I could get to all your comments and questions. Buckets and Brasco, you're going to help me out with your picks on the recap screen. I've decided. I'm going Adonai Mitchell over 31.5 receiving yards, minus 114. And if you watch the show live, you got Pearson Cootie at even money or plus 105 over Taylor Montgomery and Will Chandler. That went off like 7 minutes ago. So unfortunately, if you joined the show late, you might have missed that one. Buckets, go ahead.
VfL Bochum versus Dynamo Dresden and FSV Mainz versus Hoffenheim.
All right, Brasco.
He did the ASMR version. Give me Waldo Cortez Acosta money line minus 142. Ian Gary by decision at minus 105. Arman Sarukian by knockout or submission minus 145. Hooker and Sarukian to go under 3.5 rounds at minus 128. And Luke Riley by knockout plus 150.
I'll take it from here. Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds, minus 132. That one courtesy of Mikey B. Also likes Jaime Jaquez Jr. over 12.5 rebounds and assists at minus 111. Then we go to Chip Patterson, Florida State, North Carolina State, first half under 30.5. That game is tonight. And he talked about his UNLV lean as well. Oregon first half minus 5.5 and Utah minus 17.5 against Kansas State. Then we got more picks for you, ladies and gentlemen, because we got our SportsLine picks and our producer picks. SportsLine, 2 college basketball plays, one from Tom Casale, one from Bruce Marshall. We're going with Tom's Coastal Carolina money line minus 128 and Bruce Marshall's Georgia minus 9.5 at minus 110. Ben's popping in with some producer picks. Miami Heat first quarter plus a half, minus 110, and Oklahoma team total under 24.5 at minus 121. Again, a reminder, join that Splash Sports contest, splashsports.com/early edge. It's free, and there's $1,000 on the line, plus bragging rights. You got to beat Buckets, and you got to beat me. And if Buckets beats me this week, Buckets, you might have to host all week next week if you beat me. Are
No,
you
I
up
got
for that?
I'm up for that. Also, my apologies. Ben just messaged me saying you didn't say what the bets were. You just read the team name. So it was both teams to score in over 2.5 in that Dresden game, and Hoffenheim draw no bet in the Bundesliga game.
You
Sorry
all
about
think
that.
this hosting thing is easy, right?
It's reading is hard. Hosting's easy.
thank you.
Reading's brutal.
Reading is hard. Reading is hard. All right, that'll be it. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Mikey B, Buckets, Chip Patterson, and every single person in the chat. Really appreciate it. And of course, thanks to Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s this time. Behind the camera, but also in front of the camera. Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Keep it positive. We rest our case.